Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Today y Mañana. I'm Alex. This is Michael. We're very excited to have you here watching us this morning on a little brisk morning in Charlotte.
Yeah, winter's just kind of like showing that it's right around the corner.
Exactly.
Hopefully it will warm up a little sooner. But
winter is coming, for sure. But that's a great opportunity to settle down somewhere cozy, get your café con leche, and watch some Today Mañana in the morning, or listen to Today Mañana. Be sure to like and share. Send us your comments, your questions as we get going today on a fantastic show. We're very much looking forward to having shortly on the show Anna Pillow, the executive director of the Arts Center in Orange, as well as later on in the show Tom Kelly. He's the owner of Crustworthy Pizza. So we've got some fantastic guests that really you can tell just by talking to them before the show. Like, you know, when it comes up, the people really love what they do. And I go, okay, this is going to be a fun show. So we are very much looking forward to that. Of course, we love being here on the I Love CVille Network set. Just a thank you to, of course, Emergent Financial Services for presenting us, as well as our partners at Castle Hill Cider, at Aqua CVille Hand Car Wash, at the Gym CVille, at Craddock Serious Insurance, our friends Miguel and Chit, as well as for Adelante, the premier Latino networking group here in Charlottesville, Virginia. A little bit of news for our friends at the gym. They are going to be having the first of, I believe, 2 health and wellness expos coming up Saturday, December 3rd, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So Saturday, December 3rd at the gym, CVille, Health and Wellness Expo. So you can go there. Okay. There's going to be a lot of booths about different ways you can look after your health and your wellness. Very important, as you know, we get less sunlight in the winter.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
I know the temptation for me is just, settle down at home, maybe eat some good food.
Sit by the fireplace. Too many Christmas cookies and
a lot of Christmas cookies. So then January rolls around. It's like, oh, I need to lose
Justin and Jean at the gym will be like, guys, too many Christmas cookies.
They're going to be like, you need to get more active.
Exactly.
Get more active. And, we're actually going to go to the gym soon. So we'll keep posted for that. We're gonna check that out. And we've heard so many good things. We've had them on the show numerous times. But
they're great.
You're gonna get a first-hand look of at least one Urpí at the gym. Nick probably will refuse to do it, but I'll take the plunge. I'll take the plunge. So be sure to check out December 3rd, Saturday, December 3rd, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. the Health and Wellness Expo at the Gym CVille. So a lot going on. So I don't know about you. I'm excited for today.
Let's
jump right in. Let's just jump right into it. So we are very excited to welcome to the show this morning Anna Pillow. She is the executive director of the Arts Center in Orange. Anna, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's great to have you here. So for those who aren't familiar with you, first off, a little bit about yourself and how you came to be connected to the Arts Center.
Well, that actually is a pretty long story, short in words, but long in time. I have been part of the Art Center's community since I was a teenager, and it was actually where I learned how to throw on the wheel, which is a ceramics term. I know some people aren't familiar, but it's probably one of the most fun you can have with mud.
Yep. Like constructively using mud.
Exactly, and people respect it. So that's great. It's not your average mud pie. And so, but I learned how to do ceramics there, and then was able to come back after about a decade in New York and London to be part of this organization and lead it again. And it's just so close to my heart. I'm really happy to be part of it and be contributing to my community.
That's fantastic. I love the idea of... so go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so I'm just curious, what exactly did you do in New York and London? Did you study something? Or?
Well, so I actually got my degrees here in Virginia, one of them, at Old Dominion University. And then after that, I did go get my master's degree in London.
Wow.
And that was a big adventure.
That sounds exciting.
And so, but then... while I was finishing up my degree at Sotheby's Institute, I was offered a job working for Takashi Murakami and his studio in New York City. And so that's what brought me back to the States. And then from there, I worked in various art galleries, artist studios like Takashi's, traveling the world, going to art fairs and all of these big things. And I also worked for other nonprofit institutions, and that really made me see that, it's amazing any way you can get people involved with art. Art touches so many facets of our day-to-day lives, and a lot of people don't realize it, and community nonprofits are where that starts for many people, including myself.
Yep. I love the idea of like sort of coming back to run a place that just had a huge influence on you when you were younger. Is just a nice, a fantastic story. So for those who aren't familiar with the Art Center itself, because it's been around, I think you just had 25 years of the Art Center. Tell us a little bit about the history of the Art Center. What, for those who aren't familiar, what is it?
Sure. So we are kind of an all-in-one arts organization. So yes, it's been around for 25 years, and it started with artists, which is always a great way for a community arts nonprofit to start. People who can do it, who want to do it, and see the need in their community. And so that was kind of the genesis of this, and then there was huge community support. So you had the founder, Linda Marston Reed, who wanted this in the community. She found other people who were artists and art lovers who wanted it as well. And so they started by really renting out temporary spaces on Main Street and around town. And then there was a call for a public art project that they answered. So actually murals, which I'll talk about a little bit later, were part of our initial founding. So making beautiful things in public in Orange and Central Virginia, but we started at home with the Gateway mural that covered up a junkyard on Route 20. So
that's a great way to start, just sort of using art to make a place more beautiful, which is like, that I feel like that's one of the best things about art. It's like it's extending beauty, adding some beauty to the world, like participating with the beauty that's kind of already there, but adding some to it.
So if you're an artist, how would you get involved in the Art Center?
Oh, it's easy.
Okay.
So it's almost too easy. Watch out. Really, all anybody has to do is send us an email, drop by, or give us a phone call. There are so many different programs. We're always looking for artists to share their skills through teaching, but I also know that not every artist is a teacher. You may not have that in your skill set, and that's okay too. You can do a workshop, so it's not a formal class. You can also just put things in our gift shop. So we get a lot of people from out of state. We get locals too who are looking for that special something, but just a lot of tourists who are coming to see, Montpelier or, the beauty of rural Virginia, and they will happen upon us and they will come in and be surprised. So it's actually a really great place to put art, and we run that at cost. So the vast majority of the money goes directly to the artist, and we basically cover the taxes and fees. We also have a curated exhibition program where people can submit proposals. So, if you have some kind of project, I like to say we do have a white wall gallery, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If that is how your art is best displayed, bring it in and let's get funky. But if you have a really wild idea and you need a home for a cool project, that is definitely something I want to hear about, because art doesn't always exist on walls, and that's okay.
Absolutely. So that's neat, just an opportunity really to take that first step and if you've never showcased your art before, to say, hey, here's a place where I can do that. Here's a place where I can put it for sale and see who's interested, which really is the best gift. Because we've had a number of sometimes, the little gift shops from Orange that will, or from Louisa and around Central Virginia that will come on. And those are the truly meaningful gifts. Because if you come here, you don't want to get something like as your souvenir or a gift for someone that you could have got anywhere. You kind of want, the beauty is something like this was made by someone who lives here. And Absolutely. They put a lot of time and effort into this piece of art that I can then give to someone that I love. So that's just such a meaningful thing to have the opportunity to share that with people.
And out of curiosity, does the Art Center kind of, because as you describe it to me, I kind of feel like I'm thinking of like an antique mall. Does it work in that kind of sense where there's little areas where different artists are featured, or
Nope, no? It's kind of all together.
Okay,
so
all
our
together.
shop, it's like if you walked into a gift shop.
Okay.
So there's a whole range of prices. Don't be afraid that you're going to charge too little or too much. Art is art, and you can never really guess what somebody is going to really be drawn to. And but yeah, we have it, and it is in a curated display. We try to make it look attractive, but it is much. It's good to throw a thing at it. Like, just bring one thing in and see what sticks. I also try to work with artists who participate in our gift shop program to give them a little bit of coaching to say, hey, this, was here for this amount of time. If you brought something else in, maybe try something like this. And really using data and knowledge of the overall art market and art world to really advise on what can work. Of course, artists should always express themselves and be true to their craft. So that's not to say that you should make things for the market, but stickers, goods, you don't limit yourself either.
Yeah. Absolutely. We got some fans already watching the show. We got Andra Landy watching the show this morning, Sam Flippo watching the show, Jack Tavanas watching the show this morning. So there's some good fans. Thanks for tuning in and watching this morning. So I'm curious. So for people in the community, they say, hey, I would love to maybe learn something or practice something. What are some of the community programs or activities that people can get involved with at the center?
So there's, again, so many different ways. We really focus a lot on trying to make something for everybody. And so, we have public programs, like we usually celebrate holidays. So we just did an immersive Halloween experience called Area 129. Our address is 129.
I like that.
And so, where everybody dressed up as aliens or abductees, and we worked with our volunteers to create that environment so people could come in and not have your average Halloween party, but really get creative and funky with it. We don't draw a line about what art is or what it has to be. So that kind of celebration is part of it. We also have lots of classes kind of in a weekly format or 1 day to 3 day workshops. It's very free form. We try to respond to what people are looking for. And as a small organization, we can do that. So that's why I say, communication is the first step. The answer will almost definitely be yes.
That's a great way to lead in, right? If you know the answer is going to be yes, why not?
Exactly. Why not ask? Say, hey, I would love to do this. Can we try this? What are some of the? I'm curious for those who just want to go and sort of appreciate it, the art that's there. What are some of the current exhibits and things that people can see?
Right. Well, right now, and this ends on Saturday is the last day. We have actually 2 gallery spaces in our building. One is the Morin Gallery, which is where we have our curated exhibitions, where right now we have a show called Unexpected Paradise, which is all pastel work.
Ooh.
And so, it's been interesting to see people go through that show. It's been up for about 8 weeks now, and they don't believe that it's pastels. So come check it out. It's a little bit different than you might think when you hear that. Really testing the limit of that medium. In our second space, we are calling it the Community Gallery. It's a space that we have cleared out and made usable for clubs, community clubs. We have a lot of community activities that happen, and we need different kinds of spaces. But on the walls, we also have our Grab Bag Art Show, which was a really funky one where people could make a donation to the organization, and we would give them a small bag of random stuff, some of which was art supplies and some of which was like rubber snakes and pieces of driftwood or weird shells, and they had to make art out of it. And so that is also up until Saturday. And Saturday is a big day because that leads me into another community activity where we are having a holiday gift bazaar. Get ready for the holiday season.
Yes.
I know it seems early, but you're going to be scrambling for those last minute gifts. You don't have to. Just come visit the Art Center 12 to 4, and we're going to have lots of local artists and artisans selling all kinds of handmade custom wares. So ornaments, cozy socks, you name it, we've got it.
Oh, that's really neat. And I feel like that's the most fun way to do it, because instead of it's more than just like shopping. It's not that sometimes you feel like your Christmas shopping is you just going from one store to another, like go just buy something down at this person.
It's not even like that anymore. Now it's just like go to Amazon.
Now they go to Amazon,
like,
I know.
Exactly. Or you might look and say, what's on sale on Amazon? Let me see if I can fit someone's present in there.
But this one is sort of like you get to enjoy a day out. Like I said, hey, you get to take the beautiful drive to Orange. Right, you get to go and just walk around, see some of the art, see the exhibits before they're done. These two before it switches, right, and make a day of it. And then look around and see, and so you get your gift.
It's like an artists' farmers market. That's kind of
Yes.
what it sounds like to me.
Exactly. And
Which
the
is
artists
really-
will be there.
Yeah, that's incredible.
which is really neat.
Yeah.
That's what, you can talk to them. So it's, instead of just like getting that checklist done, you're going out and enjoying a Saturday with art and having a fun time about it.
And you also said that before, did you mention like you also have like art classes and
We do, and so we are just about to start our next session. So we do have some big workshops coming up. So one of the artists who's offering a workshop is Stephen Palmer. He does a lot of things here in Charlottesville, but we're bringing him out to the country for a kind of mid-level ceramics workshops one day. So if you want to learn about underglaze transfers, Steve's definitely somebody who's a pro at that and is going to be teaching that, and you can register for that on our website. We also have a holiday-themed workshop coming up with Sherry Jacobs, who is also, she kind of hits the farmers market and art market circuit as well. So you may have seen her work under the name Muddy Rabbit. And so very cool. She's going to be helping people make Christmas trees.
Oh,
that's
you mean like the
neat.
little mini ones?
Yeah, but out of ceramics. So if you want a Christmas tree that lasts forever.
Oh, those are
Ceramic,
so
wow.
cute. I've seen those before. That's very cute. That's always a great one. That's fantastic. Yeah, just I like the idea of just, the programming, ways for people to get connected. Any other events people should okay, I should have this on my radar.
I will say, so I know that, Charlottesville does First Fridays, but in Orange now we do First Thursdays. So if there's ever a Thursday night and you're thinking, man, I'm bored, what can I do? And it's that first Thursday of a month, make a trip out to Orange because there is going to be activities. And so we are usually having either an opening reception for our next exhibition, so that'll be December 1st for our next one, all textiles. And then, but on the off months, we have artist networking. So if you are an artist or an art lover and you are creative and you want to meet other creative people, come out to the Art Center. It's a happy hour and, grab a drink, have some snacks, meet your fellow artists and creative people, and make some new connections out in the country. Make a long weekend of it. How about
There we
that?
go. There's nothing better than starting the weekend on a Thursday night
Exactly.
instead
On a
of a
happy
Friday,
night.
at a happy hour. Exactly. Exactly. So did you say the next exhibition is going to be some textiles?
Yes, and so that is the Ravenna Weavers group. So they are going to be making, they've made them. They're beautiful. I've seen them. Tapestries, wearable textiles. So it's a bit eclectic, but it's also focused on weaving and the different techniques. It's not what you might imagine when you think about fabric.
Oh, that sounds neat. Tapestry is such you hardly ever see it anymore, so it's always nice to know, tapestry is back.
Yep. And we're going to have a loom in the gallery. So if you haven't ever seen a loom, then this is going to be an opportunity to not only see the finished product, but kind of how the sausage gets made.
How it's made, yes. Absolutely. I like the metaphor too, seeing how the sausage
Alex loves sausage, so now he's thinking sausage.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I love it all. I love tapestries as well, and seeing how they're made. So that's just so much.
Wow,
to
there's so
look
much
forward
going
to.
on at the Art Center. Wow.
Exactly.
Which is great. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Just really, it's an opportunity for people, not just people who live in Orange or in rural Virginia to sort of go and experience fine art, but also people who live in Charlottesville, Alabama, to be like, hey,
Absolutely.
what better way to take that drive? It's not that long. I've driven there multiple times. You came in from there this morning. Exactly. So it's not that long at all, and it really is a beautiful drive. It's a beautiful drive out there. And I can't think of a better way to spend a fall day than to just see that, pass by the changing leaves, enjoy them while they're still here, right? And then go enjoy some fine art. On a Thursday night, have a happy hour, which is always something to look forward to. So just so much going on, which is incredible. So before I let you go, Anna, where can people get? So first of all, where is the Art Center when they get to Orange? But also, where can people find you, get connected to the Art Center, and learn more?
So the number one best way is we are on all the social media, including TikTok. And so you want to search for Arts Center in Orange. It is plural because we celebrate all of the arts. You can also hit up our website. We have a very lively events calendar, and that is artscenterinorange.com. And, it's not all in our building. We are on Main Street, but we have also just completed a major mural project funded by a Challenge America grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. So there is even more art in public. So walk up and down Main Street. If you take the train to Charlottesville or from Charlottesville up north, then make sure that you look to the right as you look at the buildings as you go through Orange, because one of our big murals is right on those train tracks for you to enjoy. There's art everywhere in downtown Orange, Virginia.
That's fantastic. Wow. That's fantastic. So the Arts Center in Orange, basically across all social media channels, and then basically go straight to downtown.
It's like Main Street is the Arts Center.
That's what we try to do. Yeah, just bring that creativity out into the world.
Where's the Arts Center? You're standing in it.
Yes.
It's called Main
Street.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. Exactly. That's so fantastic. And then be sure to have on your calendars both this Saturday, November 19th, the last day to see the 2 current exhibits, and then the textile exhibit starts after that, as well as the gift fair. So basically you can meet the local artists and, that some of those those special Christmas gifts that you can only get there. They're not replicated. You're not going to find them on Amazon. You will find them at the Arts Center in Orange. And then Thursday, December 1st, happy hour along with some other fun programming activities.
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. Anna, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been great.
Yeah, we'll have you back. This way we can always learn about what new is going on.
Exactly.
Awesome.
There, it sounds like you guys are busy out there.
Busy little bees.
Watch
out.
There you go. Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And so we're going to go ahead and swap here. Andra Landy says hi. Hi, Andra. Thanks for watching this morning. Thank you to our friend amigo del programa, Johnny Ornelas. Thank you for sharing and liking today's show. So thank you for that. Nicholas Urpí watching the show this morning. We got some more fans liking watching the show today. We got a lot that are excited for our next guest as well. I'll name them soon. But we got some likes. Getting ready for this one here as well. So from one fantastic guest to another, we were excited to bring on the show Tom Kelly. He's the owner of Crustworthy Pizza. Tom, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks for coming on, Tom.
Thank you.
It's fun to have you on. Already we got, I think it was Nora Johnson says yum. So I think all it took was the picture.
That's it.
So we have the promo photo of the pizza, and it's like, okay, yum, here we go.
We're moving from one form of art to now like another.
There we go.
The
culinary
art.
As we say. So Tom, tell us, for those who aren't familiar with you yet, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be interested in baking pizza. Because I know a lot of us are interested in eating pizza.
Yeah.
But how did you become interested in baking it?
Yeah, well, let's see. So I started Crustworthy Pizza here in Charlottesville, I guess back at the end of May. And so before that, I was actually doing a little bit of work in sourdough bread, and had started a tiny little bread business back in California before our family moved out here to the Charlottesville area. And I guess I'm fascinated by sourdough, everything about it, the way it comes together, and it creates beautiful, amazing bread. And I wanted to take that over into the pizza world because, way back in the day, traditionally, that's how pizza was made. It was all, sort of artisan products that are made in the, quote, sourdough method, like meaning no commercial yeast, no manufactured yeast went into making that product. And both from I would say the tradition of just pizza making and the flavors that you can get from sourdough, that's what sort of fascinated me. And I wanted to take some of the skills I'd picked up focusing on bread and just try it with pizza. So that's how it kind of got started out here.
That's so neat. How did you decide so you had this interest, you want to sort of do that tradition and that flavor.
Yep.
How did you decide to take the plunge and say, you know what, I'm going to make a business out of this. I'm going to try to be an entrepreneur as well.
Yeah. So a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear went into that. No, for me, so the quick version of the story is that, I worked in the corporate world for a long time with a couple great companies, but I just wanted to do something different and do something with my hands. And so starting the little bread business in California allowed me to do that. And I went to a great baking school out there, and I learned a lot. And it was mostly around technique, around making the bread and products. So they also had some classes around the business side of it, understanding the financials of a food service business, because I feel like I have a lot of business skills, but I hadn't worked in food service. So for me, that was super helpful. It gave me a little more confidence to be able to think about having a business like this of my own. So I felt like I got my toes wet a little bit in California, running this small little bread business out of my house. And then here, when my family moved here about 18 months ago, I was at this decision point of, what do I do? Should I do something still in food or not? I wanted to, and doing something mobile seemed a little more appealing out of the gate, because we were new to this community, new to this location, and I really wanted to just try to get my products out there and sort of see how they'd be received in the market. So that the decision point was either should we open up a restaurant, brick and mortar, or do something mobile, and mobile made more sense to me. Yep. So it was a long story short, it's a little bit easier to jump into the world of food service that way. And this has been such an amazing community for us so far, in terms of just the reception we've had with customers, other food truck owners, all the different wineries and breweries and cideries that have sort of opened themselves up to say, yeah, come on out and spend some time with us. I mean, it's been such a great way to launch the business and get to know a lot more people in this community. So
yeah, this is such a great entrepreneurial community that is so welcoming. Like, when people I think the community loves the idea of small business owners and people getting started and food trucks.
Oh yeah, people love, especially when it comes to food. The food community is huge. I mean, you could just go around Charlottesville and you'll see restaurants everywhere. Yep. Different type of restaurants, lots of different pizzas and food trucks and whatnot, so it's pretty incredible when it comes to that. Charlottesville is definitely top notch. So obviously, I'm going to ask a sourdough question. What inspires you to put sourdough in your pizza? And like, if someone was going to you and saying, "Why should I eat?" Like, what's the difference between sourdough pizza and normal pizza?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so for me, sourdough represents, again, a lot of tradition, like traditional process around making leavened like breads or products or food products. And there's a couple things of why I'm so passionate about sourdough. Number one is the way you can work with it, you can get a tremendous amount of depth of flavor in the dough. That when you're making a dough with yeast, there's nothing wrong with that, like a commercial yeast. But the flavor profile is completely different. Yep. And the fun part about it too is that every day is like, every time we make a batch of sourdough, it's a little bit different, because everything can be like tweaked. So like, if the temperature is this, then you need to do that. I mean, you have to kind of think about all the elements when you're making a batch of dough like that, versus when you're cranking out dough in a factory, which is what some places that make pizza do. They're just buying dough that someone had made, and it tastes the same every time. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I kind of like the challenge of like, every day is a little bit different with sourdough. Yes. And the flavor can be, you can manipulate it a little bit more, so it's kind of fun. So it all has to do with like, how often do we feed our starter? What's the temperature we're using? What's the temp of the water? There's so many different ways to influence the flavor profile of the pizza. So that's the first thing. The second is that sourdough, from an overall sort of like gut health and your physiology, like, it's easier to digest than like a yeasted pizza would be. And one of the things about one of the reasons I wanted to start focusing on pizza is like, I wanted to make a pizza that I could feel good about giving to my kids. Like, it's healthy and wholesome. And so sourdough is like the perfect base for that, right? Absolutely. And then you throw on top of that like locally made toppings and cheeses and everything else that goes on there, and you can I feel like pizza has a reputation sometimes of being this kind of just unhealthy food product, and it doesn't have to be like that. So that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
That's incredible. That's incredible to now eat pizza and not have to worry about, it's like, this is bad for me. Yeah. Now it's like, wow, this is actually good for you.
It's healthy for you.
Healthy, yes. Sourdough.
That's the origin of pizza. I mean, when pizza was created in Italy as as sort of your go-to snack, like you're going down the street and you get it, right? It wasn't, they didn't invent it as like, oh, this unhealthy thing. It was just, all right, we have
fresh
dough,
tomatoes,
we have tomato,
fresh
we have
mozzarella.
That's right.
exact
fresh
things were
oregano.
fresh there,
Right.
and so people would just, all right, I don't have time to go and cook something at home, so I will just grab this pizza and go.
Yep.
And it was a guy on the street who made it in his own house.
Right.
So it's like the origin isn't what we think of it now, because of course it's very chain-like in
Yeah.
America, right?
Yep.
And you probably, when you think of pizza, you probably first think of the big chains. But you and a lot of others here are doing sort of transforming the notion to no, it can be local, it can be healthy, it can go
Yeah.
back to what it probably originally was.
Yeah, and that's kind of what, I mean, that's exactly why I wanted to do this and focus on pizza out of the gate. Just like I talked about how the community here is so great, one other amazing aspect of living here and starting a food service business in Central Virginia is the access to so many locally grown ingredients that can go into these pies. And that's another thing we really focus on. Like we try to build relationships with different producers and farms and make sure we can try to bring as much local everything onto these pies, because we're sort of blessed to live in this community where there's a lot of that out here. So I'm not from California, but we spent a good chunk of time out there, and we had amazing farmers markets and local food, but I actually think it's in here where we are in Charlottesville, there's even more. I can get more stuff within a 50-mile radius than I could back there. So it's pretty amazing, and I love being able to do that and make food that sort of represents, it represents a vision of what I want to do for these pies, but also I can bring in a lot of local ingredients that really represent this community and what's it about. So
That's fantastic. And
feels
you got some fancy. Claudia Good watching the show. Shui Yi watching the show. Deborah Heyman says, "Hi Tom, we love your pizza." So
I love it.
That's
That's
some
awesome.
fans watching.
And what different types of pizzas do you make? If
Sure.
you had to pick like just three.
Yeah. So, what we try to do is we always have like a few, like, I would say like the staples that'll always be in the menu. We'll always have a margarita, always. And we'll always do like a pepperoni. We use a really good pepperoni for that. So we'll always have those because that can make everybody happy.
Of course.
But then typically what we do is try to make some seasonal pies too. So like this weekend, we're going to do one that's using some apples from Child's Orchard. We're going to throw some blue cheese on there, some caramelized onions.
he
So
loves
it's like
blue cheese.
it's like a nice fall pie. So we try to use as much seasonal ingredients as possible, and so every week or so we just kind of, come up with a new version of something. Whatever's coming out of the farms, that's what we want to try to feature on the pizza.
That
So-
makes total sense.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm curious, as someone who also likes debate, and this is
Yeah.
apologize to the audience, this is kind of in the weeds, but for the sourdough, because I know sometimes that when my mom has a sourdough, she's got like the mother, and it's the same mother like 10 years running, because you try to just keep it.
Yeah.
Is that something you try to use, like the mother sort of is the one thing sort of creates one, or do you
Yep.
create a new one from scratch each time?
Yeah, no, great question. Yeah, so the idea is like, what gets called like the mother starter. It's more or less like that represents that's the aspect that you always have that, and you always feed that, and there's a regimen and a schedule to do that so that thing can last forever, right? And then what you're doing is you're more or less taking a piece of that each week, and then you're creating a levain and creating the dough from that. So it's always starting with this one thing that you keep and care for, right? It's like my third child, in addition to my other two kids.
They're finicky.
Yes.
They can very easily. I know every once in a while my mom keeps it in like a jar, right?
Yeah.
Every once in a while we get up in the morning and said, "Oh look, it overflowed a little bit.
right,
It was
right,
getting a little
right.
overactive there."
That's good
So
though. There's worse problems to have. If it doesn't do anything, that's bad.
That's
so if
bad.
it's like flowing out of the jar, that's okay. You can handle that.
I'll tell her. I'll be like,
Yeah,
"That's
yeah.
a good sign." It's good. Well, and the beauty is that that's how the flavor grows and deepens over. It's only going to get better.
Right.
Because you hear of those classics. You mentioned California. We used to live like 2 hours south in San Francisco. And they had the very famous one, the Boudin sourdough.
Oh, yeah.
And their mother was like 100 years old.
100 years old, yeah.
And so just
Yeah.
the flavor just
Yeah.
gets so incredible.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of that it's every pizza that you get, it's like you said, it's going to be different every time, slightly different.
That's right.
But it's only going to get better over
Right,
time.
that's right.
Going forward, it just gets better and better, because as that mother over time, the flavor deepens so much on sourdough. So that's incredible. So where are some of the places that you kind of move around that people can sort of expect to see you?
Yeah, so this weekend, for instance, let's see. So we're going to be at Glasshouse Winery on Friday night. We're going to be at Decipher Brewing on Saturday, and then Sunday we'll be over at Albemarle Cider Works. And and that's what we've been doing so far. You know, we're getting into a little more of like catering and private events, and we love doing that stuff. So we'll do like weddings or rehearsal dinners or family gatherings, things like that. And so that's been really fun too.
That's awesome.
But it's also great to just get out and talk to people. And that's the best part about the food truck is it allows you to have a dialogue like with your customer, like, you know, and they're watching everything happening. They're seeing the whole process there, right? So that part is also like really neat to me because we can talk about sourdough, we can talk about the ovens, we can talk about the ingredients, like, and it's
just so much
I love
fun
that
to be able
dialogue.
to talk with the person who's making your pizza. Like, yeah, what's in
Yeah,
this?
that's a little different than a restaurant setting,
Yeah.
right? So that part has been really nice again to get to know our customers and to spend time with these other like amazing businesses that sort of bring us in and say, great, yeah, we'd love you to serve pizza to our guests. So it's again been a really welcoming community for us so far.
That's really neat. Todd Rath, watching the show, I got good news for you, Todd. He asked, any plans for mobile service? And he's like, yes, a pizza truck? I'm like, yes, indeed, it is a pizza truck.
Yeah, there we go.
So the answer to the question is yes, and you
Yes,
can find
yes,
it.
and yes.
So at Glass Works?
Yeah, Glass House Winery.
Glass House Winery
Yeah,
on Friday, Decipher Brewing on Saturday,
Yep.
Albemarle Cider Works on Sunday. So,
Yep.
and that's just this weekend.
Yeah.
So for people who want to know more, to find out, all right, where can we find out more and figure out where you're going to be on a given weekend, what's the best way to sort of keep track?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so our website, crustworthypizza.com, we keep a calendar up there where we're going to be and when. Also on Instagram, if you follow us at Eat Crustworthy, we always try to put up during the week, like where we're going to be that weekend and some other interesting, you know, facts about what we're doing or pictures of some of the pies we're doing or new ideas that we have. So that's a good place to just find out more.
That's fantastic. And Todd says thank you. He's going to reach out on behalf of Blue Toad Hard Cider. So he's going to reach out to you guys.
Awesome.
So Blue
Wow.
Toad,
Yeah,
the Blue
that's
Toad
great.
was watching the show today. He's going to reach out.
That's great.
So thank you.
Awesome.
Really, really appreciate that, Todd, for watching, to be sure.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's fantastic. This has been so great. I just love the idea of the sourdough.
Well, we're big sourdough people.
Yeah,
When we used to live in California, man,
Yeah.
we'd eat sourdough. Our mom was always buying the sourdough bread.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when our brother was like, oh, we got pizza guy coming, I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like, he does sourdough. We're like, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
you could trip over sourdough in California, but
Oh, yeah.
but it's been fun to bring that here to this community.
which
And there's
is the-
others doing it for sure. Like it's not like I'm the only one out here doing that. But
The more the better.
the more the merrier.
The more the
That's what I
merrier
say.
when it
That's
comes
right.
to that. And
That's
just the
right.
idea of using the local ingredients,
Yeah.
changing it up, working with the sourdough,
Yeah.
and what you put on it. Just the whole thing sounds like a blast.
Thanks,
A blast.
thanks.
And,
Yeah.
and I love all the ways to find you.
Yeah.
So we can definitely be sure to check it out.
Good,
You know,
good.
I'm looking
See you
forward to
guys
that.
there.
Oh yes, you
Oh,
are
we'll
going.
be there, yeah.
You're going to
He
see
wants
us.
that blue cheese pizza.
All right. All I
You're
can
gonna
say was
see
blue
us.
cheese.
All you
That's
just said
good.
was blue cheese. Forget it.
Exactly. Once you say the word blue cheese, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Love
I'm
it.
sold. So Tom, it's been such an absolute pleasure. Thanks so
Yeah,
much
thank
for
you for coming on.
coming
Yeah,
on
thanks
and
guys
letting
for
us
having
know
me.
all about
Really
it.
appreciate it.
No, of course, it's been fantastic. Thanks
Awesome.
again.
Thanks, guys.
So much fun. And then as we go ahead and do our next rotation here, just really appreciate everyone with the comments, though. And also a thank you to, I just want to make sure I remember the name right. A big thank you to our friend here. Where is he? Our friend Todd. Thank you, Todd, for connecting with us and reaching out today. So that's always a blast. And again, trustworthypizza.com.
Crustworthy pizza.
Oh, and you
A
can
truly
find out
crustworthy.
experience. Yes.
We had to throw that in. The pun was just way.
Oh, it's perfect. It's
It was
perfect.
way-
That's always the sign of a good pizza, good crust. Absolutely. So, this has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Just two great guests. Did want to give a shout out. I know we wanted to talk a little bit about very briefly
Yes.
our friend and brother.
The
Nicholas
birthday
Urpí,
boy.
The birthday
The
boy.
birthday boy.
Has been just a little shout out to him. He has a new blog post up on Emergent Financial Services blog, talking a little bit about
He was talking about health, actually.
He was. I mean, it was
Which
the
we were
health of-
talking about, but a little different
a
type
little different. He
of
was
health.
talking about the health of the job market.
Job market.
And just different things to sort of think about. Because you hear all the time, and this is probably a challenge that a lot of small business owners face, right? You hear about healthy job market.
Because
and
the
some-
unemployment rate's down. I mean, what is it, like 2.9, 3%?
Yep, it's
About that.
It's on the lower side historically, and usually that's a good sign. And his point was, however, on the flip side, you got to look at, can people who need help, small business owners in particular, get the help that they need? And that's one of the key things for also looking at the health of a job market. And, we've had a number of small business owners that are like, that's hard. It's hard right now.
Well, locally, we've seen.
Locally, especially.
We've seen that. I mean, there's lots of restaurants. You just drive around town and you'll see a lot of help wanted signs. Mm-hmm. And again, yes, the unemployment rate is low, but what Nicholas was trying to point out is that the labor participation is also low. It hasn't really recovered since it dropped. It dropped a lot during the pandemic or post-pandemic? It dropped a lot, and I think that since then we haven't really seen it come up. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what your thoughts are that. I'm not sure, is that because you think people just because the pandemic hit and they're just like, I'm already stuck at home, I'm just going to retire? Or do you think there are other influences that
maybe some of that? A lot of it may be people changing industries, saying, hey, you know what, I changed careers and I don't want to go back to doing what I did before. Sometimes you see some of those business owners we talk to are like, I can't do people at any price. I mean, I'm up there at $22 an hour, so it's not like I'm offering minimum wage to work in my kitchen. I'm offering good wages.
We know some people that were offering like $30 an hour. Remember, at some restaurant industries.
And then so sometimes it's people changing industry. Big changes in the nature of the workforce can cause that. People kind of living off savings, hoping to switch something and do something better. You can only do that for so long, right? Remember, 401ks were up big at the end of 2020, 2021. They've obviously come down hard this year. Right, but if you had a larger 401k, you were like, you saw this. Some people, even on the financial websites that I will not grace by mentioning their names, will be like, you should drain your 401k while you wait for a better job. And I'm like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? So
terrible.
It's partly industry. As an example, Nick has a comment. He says starting pay at Kroger, right, is higher than some nursing pay at UVA. Right?
Wow.
So it's all about in other words, it's all about the industry. Because you would sit there and say, well, that can't possibly be the case. Well, it's the desperation of someone to get someone to work in their industry. So it's all about supply and demand, even in different industries.
Yeah, but it's interesting because when you mention Kroger, if you notice, like a lot of places like Kroger and Wegmans, they've kind of increased the number. Even Costco now has it. They have their own self-checkouts. So they're kind of finding little different ways to eliminate extra workers. Because think about it, now you don't need someone doing the checkout line. People are just kind of checking themselves out.
And that's been a trend that's going on for years, but you've seen a little more and more.
A little bit more since the pandemic. I wonder if they sort of
already the Kroger by us they used to have one section, and now there's two.
Well, Costco has one now, too.
Yeah, which they never used to have self-checkout. So it's interesting. I think you will see big businesses obviously have an easier time of responding, right? Small businesses, it's not as easy to come up with the capital to be like, I'm just going to swap everything with self-checkout machines.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
I'm curious because there's been one time we were driving, there was a gas station. I don't know if it was on the New Jersey Pike line or something like that. Turnpike. But they had it almost like a system where it was a computer and you ordered from a computer. So I'm wondering if restaurants, this is just an idea that's popped in my head. I wonder if restaurants, if they continue not to find workers, or waiters, whether they could suddenly try to basically adopt a more modern approach where it's like, you know what, I could eliminate people having to take orders and just have people on their phones.
Jerry was telling us about when I was on I Love CVille flagship show, which be sure to check that out, 12:30. Was telling me the little robot at 3 Notch, which brings you your beer on a little, I don't know.
There's a robot?
Yeah. One of the breweries here, maybe it wasn't 3 Notch, but it was 3 Notch? Yeah. Has like a little robot that can
I went there the other day. I didn't get the robot.
Oh, you didn't luck out. You weren't the special customers that get the.
Man, what? I want the robot.
But there's a robot that goes and delivers the beer.
Wow, so that's interesting.
The bigger you are, obviously, the more you're able to sort of make those investments.
That is true.
But it's interesting. He had I would really encourage people to check it out. It's interesting perspective on, all right, how do you measure job market health beyond just the unemployment rate number? What else goes into it?
There's a lot of other factors, and Nick
that you need to be looking at.
Explores them.
Exactly. So just some things to think about. A couple of comments. Kevin Higgins, watching the show this morning, he says, happy birthday to Nick. So Nick, you got a happy birthday from Kevin Higgins. He also has a very important question that I figure I'll pose to you.
It's posed to me.
It's a very challenging question. He says, Do you think people that eat pizza with a knife and a fork ought to do time? Is that a finable or prison-worthy offense?
That is just as prison-worthy as putting pineapple on pizza. Yes. I mean, I don't like when people... I mean, pizza is made that you can wrap it up. Like, if it's too hot or too... it's like too much grease, you wrap it up and then you eat it like a sandwich. That's how you do it. You don't use a fork and knife.
they fold it up in New York.
Yeah. That's terrible. I can't stand when I see people do that. It's almost as bad as like eating sandwich, like cutting it up. Like, what are you doing?
There's the hot take for the day.
Yeah.
You're harsh.
Listen,
harsh.
food,
I mean, Kevin Hayden's is with you.
Pizza's a very special place in my heart, and it's got to be eaten the right way. It's got to be made the right way, and it's got to be eaten the right way. And you can't use a fork and a knife.
So Kevin Hayden's agree with you. He says he thinks they ought to do time. So
I agree.
You and Kevin are on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
We'll have to be on the lookout. If we're ever by Crustworthy Pizza, we'll binoculars, make sure no one's eating it with the...
I'm going to have to be careful in front of you, God forbid, one day.
Well, I've yelled at you for eating certain stuff with like a fork and a knife.
I know you have. Yeah. I know you have. I'm just have to be careful if you think I need to go to prison. It's harsh.
That's harsh. Well, yeah, you get a little pass.
So there you go, Kevin. So thank you for leading to our hot take of the day. We'll make a sizzle reel of that and see how viral that goes. I have some friends that might disagree with you there. But this has been a lot of fun.
A little prison time will make them change their mind.
Oh, yeah, probably. Something else. This has been a blast.
It's been fun,
So do want to give, again, a little shout-out to our friends at the Gym CVille. December 3rd. I want to make sure I got that right. December 3rd. Saturday, December 3rd, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Health and Wellness Expo.
I just hope that they don't say don't eat pizza.
But, hey...
But they say
think about it. On December 1st, you go to happy hour at the Art Center in Orange. Mm-hmm. On December 2nd, which is a Friday, I'm sure Crustworthy Pizza you can find. He'll be somewhere, right? And then to work it off, you go to the gym on December 3rd. It's perfect. It's like you have your weekend lined up beautifully.
Wow.
I mean,
we're doing people such favors.
Exactly.
Now. It's like
we have helped.
Someone's going like, I don't know what to do the week after Thanksgiving. It's like, yeah, here
now you
go.
know exactly what to do starting on Thursday.
Plus, you should also probably check out the gym anyway post Thanksgiving because something tells me you're going to be a couple pounds heavier.
Exactly. Oh, that's me. I'm going to be checking out the gym probably post Thanksgiving. We do want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, absolutely.
Of course, since we are on Thursdays, we will not be on next Thursday because that will be Thanksgiving Day. But want to wish all the audience a very happy and blessed Thanksgiving. We are very grateful for you. I mean, this show would not exist without an audience, so we really appreciate that. For our Latino audience, that we are Latino, Feliz Día de Acción de Gracias.
Oh, I forgot that
Bendiciones a la familia. Bendiciones a todos ustedes y sus familias. Feliz Día de Acción de Gracias el jueves que viene. And of course, happy Thanksgiving. Many blessings to all you and your families next Thursday. On behalf of us and Xavier, of course,
all the
Urpís, just always appreciate everything that everyone who commented today. Really appreciate it. We'll be back the following Thursday. We will be back. We're going to be having on Carolina Scherholtz from Sweet Carolina. As well as Keith Stevens from the Stevens School of Music.
Sweet Carolina?
Sweet Carolina.
Oh, another little pun in there, right?
Yes. Well,
yeah, but I don't like that song. I mean, I like it,
well, this is Sweet Carolina.
Yeah, I know, but it's...
I know. So for those who don't know, Sweet Caroline, they play at Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, we're Yankee fans, so they play it after the Boston Red Sox games.
It's been forbidden at all Urpí weddings.
Well, the problem is it's a good song, but it's just got like,
bad
what it references. Yeah.
Gives you bad taste in your mouth.
Bad taste in my mouth. That's why at our weddings, remember we finished with New York, New York.
Of course.
We all joined hands.
Carolina Scherholtz is Latina. So it's Sweet Carolina, so it's different.
Yes, it is different.
We're good. It's Sweet Carolina, so she is Latina. So perfect. There you go. You can feel better now.
Exactly.
You can feel better now. So we're going to have on both her and Keith Stevens from Stevens School of Music in 2 weeks. Just always, speaking of gratitude, we really appreciate, of course, being on the I Love CVille Network set. We're very grateful to Judah's been behind the camera for every single Today Mañana but one where he was on well-deserved vacation. One, Jerry was behind the camera, and then one we had a little replacement. So he he's been behind, and I don't even know what number show. We need to find out what number.
Well,
show
it's almost 2 years now.
Yeah, almost
so
2 years. That
yeah,
we've been doing
it's
this.
got to be maybe like.
And all shows
Yeah.
but 2 has been Judah behind the almost
Almost
100
100.
shows. We gotta find out when the 100th is when we do
Yeah.
something special.
Exactly.
So for
And Judah always blesses us too with Liza.
yes,
that we get to have.
Liza
that
has been here
pleasurable
from the
comment.
beginning. You know, just love being on the set. Emergent Financial Services has been presenting us from the beginning, and always appreciate, of course, our friends Miguel and Chit at Craddock Serious Insurance, our friends at the Gym CVille, Aqua CVille Hand Car Wash, Castle Hill Cider, and Forward Adelante Business Alliance. You, audience, has been with us from the beginning. Just really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you all in 2 weeks.
Yep.
You know, but
Happy Thanksgiving.
Until that time, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Turkey Day.
Happy Turkey Day, feliz Día de Acción de Gracias, and nos vemos hasta mañana, as we always say on the show, as we always close with. Hasta mañana, in this case, happy Thanksgiving.
Bravo, gentlemen.
Oh, that was a fun one. That was fantastic. Enjoyed it.